All right, you guys, today we are going to read chapter 7 of Junie B. Jones and a Little Monkey Business. It is called Some School Words. I wore my brand new things back to room 9. They looked very beautiful on me, except my new pink high tops were too big, and my feet were very sliding around in there. Before I sat down, I looked at Lucille's red chair, and then I tapped on her. Sorry, Lucille, but red's my favorite color, so I would like that chair of yours, I think. Lucille looked very upset at me. But red is my favorite color too, Junie B. I patted her. I know, Lucille, but you still must give it to me. It's the rules. So she did. Now I'm the winner for sure. Aren't I? She asked. I made my shoulders go up and down. I don't know, Lucille, I said. Grace said she might have some cash in her purse. After that, Mrs. passed out construction paper, and we cut out autumn leaves for our bulletin board. Autumn is the school word for fall. We sprinkled our leaves with shiny glitter. Also, I sprinkled glitter in my hair, and I pasted some to my eyebrows, too. Then Mrs. confiscated my shiny glitter jar. Confiscate is the school word for yanked it right out of my hand. Just then, Mrs. Gutzman knocked on our door, and she came into the room with milk and cookies. Hooray! Hooray for Mrs. Gutzman! Guess what, Mrs. Gutzman? I get 3 snacks today. See? I have 3 snack tickets. Mrs. walked over to my chair. She stared down at me. How did you get 2 extra tickets, Junie B? She asked. Did you find them in the playground? Then she took my 2 extra tickets away, and she held them way high in the air. Did anyone lose their snack tickets today? She said to the class. No, I hollered. Those are my tickets. Lucille and Grace gave them to me. Mrs. raised her eyebrows. Lucille, did you give Junie B your snack ticket today? She asked. Yeah, said Lucille, 'cause she made me. I did not, Lucille, I said. I did not make you. Mrs. said, be quiet to me. She folded her arms. Grace, did you give your snack ticket to Junie B too? Then that Grace started to cry because she thought she was in trouble. Mrs. tapped her foot. Come get your snack ticket, Grace, she said. So then that Grace walked to my table in just her socks. And Mrs. made squinty eyes at her feet. Where are your shoes, Grace? Oh, sorry, I skipped a page. That is when big, fat baby Grace started crying, and she pointed at her shoes. Mrs. peeped under my table. Junie B. Jones, why are you wearing Grace's shoes? Mrs. sounded dangerous. Because, I said, kind of scared. Because why? Said Mrs. Because it's the rules. Then Mrs. bent down very close to my ear. What rules? The rules for who gets to be the first to see my monkey brother, I said. Mrs. rolled her eyes way back in her head. Put your own shoes back on and come with me, young lady, she said. Then me and her walked into the hall together, and she made me tell her what happened on the playground. After that, I had to give Lucille back the locket and the sweater with the Scotty dog on it. And I had to give Grace back the real, genuine, fake ring from cereal. Then Mrs. wrote a note, and she said for me to take it to the office. The office is where the boss of the school lives. His name is Principal. Yeah, I don't think I want to go down there today, I said, or my mother might get mad at me. Mrs. tapped her foot. Then she took hold of my hand. Let's go, young lady. March, she said. So me and her marched to the office. March is the school word for pulled me way too fast. Chapter 8 is called Me and Principal. The school office is a scary place. It has loud ringing phones and a typing lady who's a stranger, and a row of chairs where the bad kids sit. Mrs. plopped me in a blue one. Wait here, she said. Yeah, but I'm not even bad, I whispered. Then I put on my sweater and I put it on top of my head so nobody could see me in the bad kid's chair. After that, I peeked down my long sweater sleeve and I saw Mrs. out of the handhole. Oh, Junie B. She was knocking on Principal's door. Then she went in there, and my heart felt real pumpy because she was tattletaling on me, I think. After a while, she came out again, and Principal came with her. Principal has a baldy head, which looks like rubber. Also, he has big hands and heavy shoes and a suit made of black. Can I see you in my office for a minute, Junie B? He said. So then I had to go in there all by myself. I sat in a big wood chair, and Principal made me take the sweater off of my head. So, what's this all about? He said. Why do you think your teacher brought you down here today? Because, I said, very quiet. Because why? Said Principal. Because Grace shot off her big fat mouth, I explained. Principal folded his arms and he said for me to start at the beginning. So I did. First, I told him about how I spent the night at my grandpa's house. We had delicious waffles for breakfast. I said, I had 5 of them, only my grandpa didn't even know where I put them all. Except I put them way in here. I opened up my mouth and showed Principal where all my waffles went. Then I told him about how my Grandma Miller came home from the hospital and she told me I had a monkey brother, for real and honest and truly. So then I told the children at show and tell. And at recess, Lucille and Grace started giving me pretty stuff because they wanted to be the first to see him. Except too bad for me, because when we came back inside, Mrs. found out about the snack tickets, and then Grace shot off her big fat mouth about her shoes. So I got marched down there, and I had to sit in the bad kid's chair. Then I smoothed my skirt. The end, I said nicely. Principal rubbed his head that looks like rubber. Junie B, maybe we should go back to when your grandmother came home from the hospital? He said, can you remember exactly what she said about your brother being a monkey? I scrunched my eyes real tight to try to remember. Yes, I said. Grandma Miller said he was the cutest little monkey she ever saw. Then Principal closed his eyes. Ah, he said. Now I get it. After that, he smiled a little bit. You see, Junie B, when your grandmother called your brother a little monkey, she didn't mean he was a real little monkey. She just meant he was, well, cute. I know he's cute, I said, because all monkeys are cute. Except I don't like the big kind that can kill you. Principal shook his head. No, Junie B, that's not what I mean. Your brother isn't a monkey at all. He's a little baby boy. I made a frowny face. No, he's not. He's a real, live baby monkey with black, hairy fur and long fingers and toes. Ask my Grandma Miller if you don't believe me. So guess what Principal did? He called her. That's what. He called Grandma Miller right up on the phone. And then he talked to her. And then I talked to her too. Hey, Grandma, I said. Guess what happened down here? Principal doesn't believe me that my baby brother is a real monkey. Only he is, because you told me that. Remember? You said he was a monkey, for really and honest and truly. And then Grandma Miller said she was very sorry, but she didn't mean he was a real monkey. She just meant he was cute, just like Principal had said. So then I felt very droopy inside. Yeah, only what about all of his black hair and long fingers and toes? And his bed that looks like a cage? And the wallpaper with jungle friends on it? Grandma Miller kept on saying that my new brother was just a regular, cute baby. So finally, I didn't want to talk to her anymore, and I hung up the phone. Then I bent my head way down, and my eyes got a little bit of wet in them. Darn, I said. Then Principal gave me a tissue, and he said, I'm sorry. He held my hand, and we walked back to room 9. All right, I'm going to read an extra chapter today just because it's super short, so we'll finish the book. Chapter 9 is called Pigs and Ducks and Stuff. Principal went to room 9 with me. Then he clapped his giant hands together. Boys and girls, may I please have your attention? I would like to explain what happened during show and tell today. It's about Junie B. Jones and her new baby brother. Just then, that Jim I don't like jumped right up out of his chair. He's not a monkey, is he? He shouted. I knew it. I knew he wasn't a monkey. I made a big fist at him. How would you like this on your nose, you big Jim? I hollered. Principal frowned at me. So I smiled. I don't like that guy, I said to him. After that, Principal took a big breath. Boys and girls, there's a good reason why Junie B told you that her baby brother was a monkey. Yeah, I said. It was all my Grandma Miller's fault, I interrupted, because she told me that my brother was a little monkey. Only she didn't really mean it. She just meant he was cute. Only who knew that? Principal made another frown at me, and then he talked some more. You see, boys and girls, sometimes adults say things that can be very confusing to children. Like, what if you heard me talking about a lucky duck? You might think I was talking about a real live duck, but lucky duck just means a lucky person. Right, said Mrs. And when we call someone a busy bee, we don't mean he's a real bee. We just mean he's a hard worker. Hey, I thought of another one, I said, very excited. A dumb bunny isn't a real alive bunny either. It's just a plain old dumb guy. Then Lucille raised her hand. I've got one too. Sometimes my Nana calls my grandpa a couch potato. Only he's not a real potato. He's just lazy. Yeah, and I'm not a big pig, said Ricardo, but my mom says I eat like one. Then a whole bunch of other kids said that they eat like pigs too. Only a boy named Donald said he eats like a horse, and William eats like a bird. Just then it was time for the bell to ring, so me and Principal said bye to each other, and I went to my seat. I gave Lucille back her red chair. She was very nice to me. I'm sorry your brother's not a monkey, Junie B. Thanks, Lucille. I'm sorry that your grandfather isn't a real potato. After that, the bell rang for us to go home. Me and Lucille and Grace held hands and we walked outside together. Only then something wonderful happened, and it's called I Heard My Mother's Voice. Junie B, over here, honey. Daddy and I are over here. I looked in the parking lot and I saw her, so I ran to her speedy quick. Then me and Mother hugged and hugged, because I hadn't seen her for a whole day. Then Daddy got out of the car and he had a little yellow blanket in his arms. And guess what was in that thing? My new baby brother. That's what. He was very teeny and pinkish, and his head did have a lot of black hair on it. I touched it. It felt like fuzzy. Just then Ricardo walked by, and he saw my teeny brother. Cool hair, he said. I smiled very big. I know Ricardo, and guess what else? He doesn't even smell like PU. After that, I got into the car. I told Mother about Lucille's locket, and she said maybe I could get a locket too and put my brother's teeny head in there. I would also like some pink high tops, please, I said, very polite. Maybe, said Mother. Oh boy, I said, because maybe doesn't mean no. That's why. Then I lifted up the blanket and I peeped at my baby brother one more time. What do you think of him, Junie B? I smiled very big. I think he's the cutest little monkey I ever saw, I said. Then Mother laughed, and I laughed too. And that is the end. All right, tomorrow we will read Junie B. Jones and her big, fat mouth.